Since we're already having a conversation on something very similar to something that I enjoy having a conversation about, how to get people attracted to a free market. And let's get started with this. Is there something called free market in this world? 100% free market?
No, there is no 100% free market. I think all systems are, in reality, a mixture between capitalism and socialism. I compare it with a test tube where you have two ingredients, market and state, or capitalism and socialism, and then you look what happened if you add more market and what happened if you add more state. I will give you two examples. Vietnam, I'm very familiar with Vietnam because I have a girlfriend from Vietnam and I was there several times. Yeah. And Vietnam was the poorest country in the world in the 90s. First, they had this terrible war, not only one war, several wars. Then they had what was not destroyed by the war was destroyed by the planned economy. Yeah. And they were poorer than all African countries. And then they started with economic reforms, open the economy, allow private property, free market reforms. And now it's an entrepreneurial spirit there, and they make a lot of progress. And the number of people living in poverty was reduced from 80% to less than 5%. And this similar things happened in a lot of Asian countries. When you look in the last decades or last 50, 60 years first, South Korea, for example, was in the 60s as poor as African countries. Today, it's amazing if you go there. Or China, they call themselves socialist, and of course it's a one-party system, but in the economy, they had these reforms with Deng Xiaoping in the 80s, and the people living in poverty declined there from 88% in 1981 to less than 1% today. Or look even for Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong. So what I don't really understand, if you live here in an Asian country not so far away from these countries, people should see they make progress there. They are better off. And what has happened with us? Why not with us? And I think the answer is very easy, because there's not enough economic freedom. If you look at the index of economic freedom, this is a ranking by the Heritage Foundation, 177 countries. Then you see number one is Singapore in the world. The last one is North Korea. And your country, I think now it's rank 142 out of 177. And so there's a lot of place for improvement.
Improvement, exactly, right? In the world of digitization, where everything is digital, where people have access to almost every sort of knowledge, and also access to looking at just diving into lives of their loved ones or lives of other people, right? With Instagram, you can probably go ahead and get a peek of somebody's life. It can be a billionaire, it can be a millionaire, it can be a friend, it can be your family, right? Looking at that, I think the world has opened up, and people want access to almost everything, but maybe don't have the means to get there. Has that happened now? In terms of maybe in the 70s and 80s, things were different. People didn't know how the world was back in the day.
Yes, this is correct. But you can draw two conclusions. The one is I have to change something in my own country. I have to fight for maybe a free market revolution, or to change it, or maybe the easier way is leaving the country. Going to, of course, this is easier for everyone. When changes come, when will it come? Will it happen? And you take a lot of risks. And then I understand people when they say, okay, let's leave the country. And this is what happened every time when you have too much state intervention, too much socialism, people left the country. I give you one example. Venezuela. Mm-hmm. Venezuela in the 70s was one of the 20 richest countries in the world, one of the 20 richest countries. Then they started with a lot of regulation, labor market regulation, and things became worse. And then they made a mistake. The end of the 90s, they voted for socialist Hugo Chavez, and he started with all this crazy stuff, nationalization. the result was, as always with socialism, they had 1 million% inflation rate, 1 million per year, and now 25% of the population left, 7.5 million people left. They go to Chile or to other countries. They are leaving. And this is what happened in my country. I produced a movie. You can get it for free on the internet, on YouTube, Life Behind the Berlin Wall. And what happened there, Germany was a divided country with East Germany, socialism, West Germany, capitalism. And what happened, of course, almost 3 million people left from the East to the West. And the only thing they could do, they built a wall and they killed everyone who want to leave the country. So this is the only possibility now for your country. You have to choose between two things. First, build another wall and kill everyone who want to leave, or make more economic freedom, more capitalism, better environment, so that people love to stay here, and even people come back who left there, who maybe studied in the United States or elsewhere. And I think if they would see an opportunity to make great business, of course they would come back, as it happened in India, as it happened in Vietnam, as it happened in China. They will come back.
Thank you very much for watching us on YouTube. Make sure that you also listen to us on Spotify.